Welcome. We are glimpsing VMS&T for the answers for the modern mind. Modern mathematical mind is held up because of its axioms and postulates. Illustrative case is of a Bach theorem, which is still a conjecture from the point of view of the modern mathematics. Modern mathematics is held up, modern mind is held up, and this is there because of the insistence of the modern mathematics upon the linear dimensional order of a approach for the entire existence phenomenon simply being as if it is a three-dimensional phenomenon. The answer to these limitations of the modern mathematics is the Vedic mathematics, and it is a mathematics of a spatial order. Our existence phenomenon is not held up till a three-dimensional frame, a linear dimensional frame. Vedic systems approach and work out the existence phenomenon as a creator of the space, four space, a spatial dimensional space with hypercube of 4 as its representative regular body of a fourfold manifestation layer, 2 space as dimension, 3 space as boundary, 4 space as domain, and 5 space as origin. Modern mathematics is insisting for the existence phenomenon to happen within a three-dimensional frame of 3 linear dimensions. However, the space in which we exist is a space in which solids, three-dimensional bodies, are not only in a static state, but these are in dynamic state. Three-space body moves. It moves only because of the availability of the fourth dimension, a degree of freedom of motion for the solids. Modern mathematics, as per its existing axioms, is insistence upon a static state, three-space body, solids, and then insistence as if the entire existence phenomenon gets exhausted within a three-dimensional frame setup, which is not the reality. The reality is much beyond. Therefore, the modern mind is to revisit axioms and postulates, and for it one can start with the sequential progressions reach, how the sequential progressions have a reach. Therefore, if we are having a sequence with the first term S1, second term S2, and so on, then a reach from S1 to S2 has a big gap in between, and this gap is being not bridged by reaching from S2 to S3 because it is going to create another gap. And like that, there are infinite steps of a sequence, and accordingly there are infinite gaps. There remains infinite gaps, and because of it the axioms of linear sequencing is not going to be of any help to the modern mind, and it is because of this that modern mind is held up. And one of the illustrative case is of a Bach theorem. This Bach conjecture, as it is becoming unsolvable for the modern mind because of the limitations of its axioms. The modern mathematics is initiating a transition from linear order to a spatial order. Spatial order would mean two space in the role of a dimension. Now, within two space means within a surface, we can simultaneously have interval as well as a square. Therefore, when we will be transiting from linear order to a spatial order, that would mean that we will be having simultaneously availability of the formats of an interval as well as of a square. Now, interval is a format for a first axis, and the surface as such is a format availing the pair of axes. It is this two-phased availability of a reach of the spatial dimensional order which is no more available to the linear order. Here we can have a first phase, a complete in itself by a single axis, and the second phase as of a pair of axes. However, both are simultaneously also available, so it becomes a complementary and supplementary setup. It is this complementary and supplementary setup which is helpful to bridge the gap between the sequential terms. Now these gaps again will lead to sequential reach, say of S11, S12 and so on. Here again we will have a sequential bridging S21, S2 and so on. So each gap itself is accepting a sequential reach, and then the pair of terms of this sequential setup as well will further have a sequential reach, and like that there are going to be infinitely infinite sequences. Infinitely infinite sequences is a reach points along a format of a line to each point itself becoming a linear format itself, and with it the shift and reach comes to be from points along the format of a line to lines along the format of a square. It is this reach, it is this attainment which is required for having a transition from the limitations of the linear order of three-space approach of the modern mathematics. Vedic systems are providing this breakthrough, are providing this transition, and this transition is a concept of a Kram Samapti. The sequential progression reach is of a reach from a linear order to a spatial order, wherein the linear order and spatial order are simultaneously happening. It is this simultaneous happening which is like taking it to be, and if we have a head with a single eye, and if we have a head with a pair of eyes, it is this head with a pair of eyes which is going to be parallel to the human head, and this single head is a head with a single eye is leading us to different comprehension of our existence phenomenon, and the pair of axes are leading us to a different setup of the existence phenomenon. The Vedic systems are the systems of a head equipped with a pair of eyes. This as such is going to be a format parallel to the format of an idol of Lord Brahma equipped with 4 heads, and each head is equipped with a pair of eyes. Now 3 space is a setup of the format of triple axis, while 4 space is of a format of quadruple axis. It is this quadruple spatial axis setup which is going to be the format along which we have to reach at the sequential progression. The sequential progression here is going to be of 2 space in the role of a dimension, 3 space in the role of a boundary, 4 space is going to be the domain, and 5 space is to play the role of an origin. It is this format availability which is extending the working processing format of the Vedic systems, and when we transit from linear format to a spatial order format, then the limitations of the linear order melt, dissolve, and with it the mental state as well dissolves and the logic transforms. It is this change, it is this reach, it is this transition which deserves to be imbibed. Therefore, when we are approaching Goldbach theorem, then we will be approach going to be of a format of a Kram Samapti, and it is going to be of a spatial order format. We shall have a pause here. Let me share that I was initiated and I have been put on this particular track by Shri Pad Babaji Maharaj, and this initiation has been supplemented by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. I did my post-graduation, and it was in 1965 when I joined post-graduation at Punjab University and completed it in 67. It is at this point of time that I was fortunate to have a book in my hand, Vedic Mathematics of Ganita Sutras, Vedic Mathematics book of Swami Bharti Krishna Tirtha Ji Maharaj. And this book was carried by me, along with me, and with this background, when I have gone to the feet of Shri Pad Babaji Maharaj, then this Vedic mathematics values were put on a track as that the Vedic systems are the systems of the creators of space, means of 4 space, and the 4 space is a spatial order space. It is this spatial order space which is having a format of quadruple spatial dimensions. Then Pad Babaji Maharaj, for further initiation, had sent me to the feet of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi Ji, and it is here where I was initiated as that the creators of space is having a transcendental origin, as that 5 space is playing the role of the origin of the creations. Therefore, this 5 space, a role of the origin of the creations, is going to be of a solid order space. Therefore, the initial 3 space as domain, being of a linear order, the same reaches at 3 space as dimension of 5 space, and it is this format of 5 solid dimensions. Therefore, the sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel to the format of the Vedic systems shall transit from the linear order universe of three-dimensional frame to spatial order universe of the creators of space, a 4 space, and here one is to transcend. There is to be a transcendental meditation. One is to dive within the cavity of one's heart to glimpse the transcendental seat, the seat of the transcendental Lord, Lord Shiv. This diving within the cavity of the heart, this transcendence within the creators of space, means within the heart, one's own heart. So the enlightenment is that Lord Brahma meditates within the cavity of one's own heart and attains the transcendental grace, and it is in terms of this transcendental grace that Lord Brahma multiplies as 10 Brahmas, means that there is going to be a transition for the role of 4 space as a domain to 4 space as a boundary, a creative boundary of 10 components. It is this reach up till a raised to power 5 is equal to 10 b raised to power 4, means there are as many as 10 creative components of the boundary of the transcendental domain. It is here where comes in the basic transcendental phenomenon of creation of a transcendental cavity. This transcendental cavity is at the seat of the origin, which is the seat of the transcendental Lord, a solid order space which is enveloped within a creative boundary of 10 components. It is this transcendental cavity within creators of space and as such within the heart of the human beings. It is this cavity through which one is to transcend. Now here, because of the spatial order of the 4 space, there is an outward transcendence, creation of a 6 space, and there is an inward transcendence as well. It is this inward transcendence through the transcendental cavity and going to be a reach at 6 space. Now this reach at 6 space, by transcending further, first we have to transcend within the cavity of one's heart to reach at the transcendental seat. Then we have to transcend further and we have to reach at the self-referral origin, 6 space origin of a 5 space. Now it is here we see that when we reach at this value, it would be value 6. Then we know here is a prior state of 5 space enveloped within a creative boundary of 10 components, and 5 space itself being a solid order setup, so value 15 is available. So 15 into 10 gives us a value 150. A step ahead, we know that 4 space is enveloped within a solid boundary of 8 components. Therefore, these 10 components, each having 8 solid boundary components, it will yield us value 80. Here now, when we reach at a cube at the boundary, then we know it is enveloped within a spatial boundary. 2 space is playing the role of a boundary of a 3 space. Therefore, this 2 space takes to 5 geometries range, it takes to 11 geometries range, then 23 geometries range, and ultimately at the 5th step are 47 geometries range. So it is 5-fold progression. This is sequential progression of value 47. So value 47, then value 80, then value 150, and then value 6. It gives us value 283, which is parallel to the total letters of the text of 16 Ganita Sutras. It is here where we will be face to face with the lively working format of the Ganita Sutras. So it is at this format that we have to reach sequentially from 6 space to 5 space to 4 space to 3 space, ultimately to 2 space. Now it is this spatial order which is to be availed, or which will be available to us. As such, the modern mathematics, which is restricting itself up till the linear order, is going to miss large number of features. In fact, the infinitely infinite values features of the existence phenomenon, and it is because of it that when we will be transiting to a spatial order which will be sequentially holding as 5, then 11 geometries, then 23, and ultimately 47 geometries range. It is here where from Srimad Bhagavad Gita begins. Therefore, the Vedic systems are having a sequential progression reach, and it is this sequential progression reach which is attainable, which is to be chased, and it is this, with this chase only, we will be in a position to appreciate as to how the modern mathematics is trapped within the limitations of its own axioms and postulates insistence upon the linear order progressions. So linear order sequencing as such is responsible for the proof of the Goldbach theorem being withheld from the modern mathematical minds. The proof of the Goldbach theorem as such is a very simple, it is a very simple steps, but the formats ultimately being availed, which will be coming into play, have a very wider implications. So for initial comprehension of the proof, we have to remain always at the elementary knowledge steps only. Now let us today initiate ourselves with the statement of the theorem itself. The statement is that every even number greater than 2 can be written as a sum of a pair of primes. Therefore, we want that 4 to be written as a pair of primes, which is very simply available to us as 2 plus 2, and 2 is the prime, though it is the only even prime, but the value 4 can be written as 2 plus 2, and value 6 can be written as 3 plus 3. When we reach ahead at 8, then by just small checkup, we can reach at 8 is equal to 3 plus 5. Like that, with the help of a computer, we can verify and reach at such verification of this particular statement as we can always reach at one such solution, one such split for the even number, and very large number and these supercomputers these days can take us much far away. Concern of our here is that we shall reach at a mathematical proof. For it, let us have a step 1. The step 1 is that E being an even number, so it can be always written as m plus m. Now we can have any even number. 2 we can write it 1 plus 1. We can write it 2 plus 2. 6 is equal to 3 plus 3. 8 is equal to 4 plus 4. Like that, even number by its definition itself is providing us that it is one feature of the even number, and it is this feature which is to be availed. We can easily say that E is equal to m plus m. Now, with this help of this organization, we can write the numbers. If we begin one more than before ekadhikeen purve, starting with 0, we will sequentially reach at 1, 2, 3, and going up till 2m, means up till E. This sequential organization can be reached at, it is available on first principles, it is available by the rule one more than before. So by these steps, so if we count 0 as well as the starting point, then from this ahead in 2m steps we can reach at value E. This organization as it is now, we are having a number E. For illustrative situation, let us take it is 66. Now E is equal to 2 is equal to m plus m. Illustratively, in this background will take us to 33 plus 33. Now we can write numbers 0, 1, 2, reaching up till 66. In between, half the way, we are having a reach at value 33. Therefore, we can have a split for this line of values 0 to 66 by having a placement for value 33, and we can have a bend at this point, taking it to 0 to 33, and then from 34 to 66. However, if we take that it is a common placement value for both, then we can reach at 0 to 33, and then the second limb can be 33 to 66. It is this simple technique of having a bend at value 33. So having a bend at value m, for every E we can have a bend at value m. So this linear organization can be reorganized as of a pair of limbs organization. It is this pair of limbs organization which is going to be availed here. In this step 1, we are availing this particular technique, and it is that when we are having E, then at the middle we are having a bend, and we are transiting and transforming from this setup to this particular setup. So a reach from this organization to this organization format with the trick of 33 being taken as the common value. So we are adding 33. We are repeating value 33. So here we reach from 0 to 33, and here we reach back 33 to 66. The beauty of this arrangement is that by this we are having at the beginning 0 and 66, at the end 33 and 33, and see that value is 66 at both ends. So it is a value E going to be at both ends. It is going to be 2m at both ends. Not only that, at every step in between as well, we will be having sum of value 66. So this technique, this step, this trick, this maneuvering as such is going to help us to have a arrangement for values 0 to 2m as of a pair of limbs organization with a setting that at each step we are having value equal to 2m. This we say we are creating duplexes. So this 0 and 2m is also taken, say, a duplex of this pair of values. It is a duplex of this pair of values, and at the end we are having m and m as a duplex of value this. Therefore we see at each step we are having value equal to E. What is the conjecture, or what we aim to reach at? It is that every even number, so E greater than 2, can be written as a sum of a pair of primes. So out of this combinations, we want to reach at where these, at least one of these duplexes shall be that both the members, upper limb member and lower limb member, are the primes. The whole exercise of the conjecture being proved is that when we have a disorganization of duplexes for the even number, then we shall be in a position to lay hand at least one of the duplexes where the upper member and the lower member both are the primes. For this, the technique being adopted is the technique of the spatial order, because here the 2 space is going to play the role of a dimension. Now it is this value 2 which is a unique, as it is a prime, it is the only even prime. So it is this only even prime which is going to help us to have further unfolding and further steps to reach at a particular duplex, being the duplex of a pair of values, both of them being the primes. From next session onwards, we shall be taking up this proof sequentially, step by step, to prove this conjecture as a theorem, and thereafter we will be taking up the implications of these simple steps, simple elementary steps of organization of the values. We are in a particular way organizing these values 1 to 2m, and it is this organization which is available to us inherently because of the spatial order, because of transition from a linear order to a spatial order, because of a particular limb being split and to be made as the pair of limbs. So a axis is being organized as a pair of halves. So axis as a pair of half axes is the technique, but in simple terms it is to reach at values 0 to 2m and at the middle to have this organization, to make it a pair of limbs organization such that at each step there is going to be a summation value for the upper value and lower value equal to the E itself. So our choice now gets restricted to these m plus 1 choices. This m plus 1 frequency of value E is to be availed to reach at that value where the upper value and the lower value both are the primes. Thank you very much.